Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Heart to Heart with Hads. Today, we're just going to jump right into it because we've got a lot to discuss. But the main topic we're talking about here is about why you're addicted to starting over. And a lot of us are addicted to starting over on a Monday. Oh, we'll start at the new month, or we'll start here, start over here. And the reality is that's what's holding you back. So we're going to talk about why this comes up, why you act like this, and how to end it. So number one talking point here is you low key like the struggle. And I think a lot of people like the struggle. You know how whenever somebody asks you, okay, like, how are you doing? And you're like, oh, good. Or somebody compliments, or you're like, oh, good. Or somebody compliments you and you're like, thanks. No, I'm not, whatever. Instead of just actually taking that compliment. I know that's not a struggle, but it kind of is because whenever you associate or somebody asks you, or I don't know if this is making sense, but hopefully it kind of does. But whenever you are dealing with something or somebody asks you for something and they're like, oh, how are you doing? You're moping around. I do this all the time. Someone be like, oh, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm tired today. But I always find something to pick out that's negative. That's a struggle. When in reality, like everything's fine. I'm just finding something because I want that sort of attention or that sort of like sympathy. And the thing is like you define yourself, you identify with the struggle, you're just going to continuously keep making that happen. So stop making yourself be or have like a struggle, even if you are struggling, like stop making it about the struggle. Sorry, that was just kind of rude, but it's for real. Anyways, struggling gives you a sense of identity. If you're struggling, you never have to have the pressure of winning. And this is so true because winning is something that is hard, and when we get to the top, or where we get to where we want to be when we're winning in whatever it is, winning in life or winning in our job, or we constantly want to pick out a struggle. Even if everything's going right, we think that we need to pick something out, pick out a struggle, and the reality is we just don't need to be doing that. The struggle keeps you safe from change because that requires responsibility. Change requires some sort of responsibility. And if you're not willing to make that change within yourself, then you're just letting yourself down. You're not holding yourself responsible or accountable for the things that you need to be doing. So that's my last little tangent on that. The next thing too is you're obsessed with that clean slate feeling that comes up every single every single Monday or every single new year. Monday is your drug. Hitting restart feels productive, but it's actually just fake momentum. It feels so much easier to restart than to just stay consistent through that messy middle. Let me repeat that again. It's easier to restart than to just stay consistent in the messy middle. You mess up, say for example, you mess up your eating on a Thursday. So instead of just making a better choice at the next meal, you just binge all weekend because you're like, oh, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday's coming around, and I can just restart on a Monday. That's the exact reason you're stuck and you're not making progress in any of your goals. This can be anything. Like, this doesn't have to be fitness related, but seriously, come on. You want that dopamine hit of a fresh start more than the boring work of just fixing it right now. That's the harsh reality that we all need to sit with. Because the thing about it is that clean slate feeling, that fresh start feeling, the more that you rewire or the more that you keep doing that week after week after week, the more that just becomes who you are. That becomes your identity, that becomes the thing that you continuously do. So, anyways, that's just my take on that. All right, let's get into number 3. You don't have real discipline yet. That's the hard truth. You're not disciplined yet. You say you are because you have been for a month, but the reality is it takes longer than a month to build up a foundation of discipline. You're great when you're motivated, but the thing is motivation is ever fleeting. Like, motivation is never going to be high. This whole week I have not been motivated to do a damn thing. For whatever reason, I'm not quite sure, but just because I'm not motivated doesn't mean I didn't make it happen. So you're great when you're motivated, but not when it gets boring. So you have to keep continuing that momentum whenever things get boring. For example, deep down you think, what if I give it my all and then it still doesn't work? Like you give it your all for one whole month and then it doesn't work. Quitting early is protecting you from finding out if it really works. It keeps you safe from disappointment. Another thing too, you really lack clarity on what you're actually chasing. You have no real vision. Maybe you're basing your vision or ideas or the goals that you want off of things you see online or things that other people are doing, but deep down you haven't actually sat with yourself, and especially in silence, you haven't actually sat down and thought about what you want. What is something that you really want? You haven't envisioned your future. You don't even know what you want that to look like. And until you can figure out what you want that to look like, you can't make decisions on the fly. You cannot do little things on the fly. You don't have a real vision that's bigger than the next week, the next 7 days. Without a long-term identity shift, you're just going to keep living for short-term emotion. The long-term change comes with long-term commitment. And if you're not willing to make that long-term commitment for the long-term change that you're after, then you're not going to see that end goal, that end result come to fruition. Next thing, you don't take ownership when you fall off. You simply blame everybody else around you because that's easier than really taking ownership of yourself. You blame your schedule, your emotions, your job, your kids, whatever it is. You blame other people, but you don't actually take ownership or accountability for your actions. And your actions, your emotions, the way you react to things are the only things that you can control. So stop blaming on other people. That's not going to make anything better. Ownership means taking back your power. Even when it's convenient, even when things don't go your way. And I'm not saying that you need to sit here and be perfect, but it's about being someone who actually finishes what they start. If you can finish what you start, that for one's going to build your confidence. And for two, you're not going to be wanting to start over every Monday because you've already have it built up to just keep showing up even when you do fall off. That's the real shift. That's the biggest shift here. Another thing is you love the idea of being someone new, but you literally hate the work that it takes to get there. For example, say you buy the new supplements, you buy the new workout clothes, you buy the new journal, whatever it is, but 3 weeks in and then it's not fun anymore. It's monotonous, it's boring. You quit. You are chasing the feelings of change, but not the reality of what it is, because the reality is change is boring. And if you can stick out and do the same thing every single time, then you will win. Another thing too is you probably convince action with progress. You think like you rewriting your workout plan 10 times, but still don't feel like sticking to a single week of it. You think that's progress, but it's not. Planning, redoing, and restarting feels like you're working, but you're just avoiding the execution of the boring and monotonous, like I have already said so many new times. You haven't built proof with yourself yet either. You've broken promises to yourself so many times that you don't even trust that this time is going to be different. So you self sabotage because it just feels easier to fail right now than be disappointed later. Let me say that again. It's easier for you to fail now than to just be disappointed later. And lastly, but not leastly, which doesn't even make sense, you let all of your emotions make your decisions. Oh my gosh, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I can't do it, I can't stick to the plan because I'm just so tired. So you just quit. You quit because these fleeting emotions that won't be there tomorrow or maybe in the next day. So you quit. But guess what? If you want to be successful, if you want to make progress towards your goals, it doesn't care how you feels. You still have to show up anyway. That's so cliche, but it's so true. Another thing too is you probably view discipline as a punishment instead of instead of power. You think that discipline is rigid and boring and restricted, but when in reality, discipline is literally the most freeing feeling that you'll ever have. The most freeing thing you'll ever be able to build. So, you haven't made yourself your future you, actually, your future self a non-negotiable yet. The current you is always louder than the future you. Let me say that again. The current you is always louder than the future you. If you're not envisioning the future you, you're going to be stuck in the current you. Until your future self matters more than your current comfort, you're just going to keep starting over. You're not tired of failing. You're tired of half-assing your life and wondering why nothing sticks. There's no perfect Monday. There's no perfect new month coming to save you. There's literally only today. Handle it. That's all I've got to say for today. So, hope you guys liked my notebook thoughts this week. And in the meantime, don't freaking be addicted to starting over. Keep staying in it when that shit's hard, okay? All right. Love you guys. Bye.